Welcome to the next lesson. Well, first, I have to deeply apologize for messing up with the Lamborghini stats. In the previous lessons, it's actually 610 horsepower and top speed of 325. Sorry about that. So now we can go and explore some vector capabilities of Studio. Let me press return, or you can simply click this little icon to go to the edit path mode on any shape. So we have the rectangle, I press return, and there it changes slightly. So instead of those handles that can resize an element, we have vector points. This one is actually selected. We can click on any of the points to select it, or we can simply press Tab to go to the next point, or Shift Tab to go to the previous point. Now you can select multiple points at once with Shift click, and here I have those 2 points selected. And now you can modify those values. So you can precisely adjust the position of each point, or you can change the corner radius value, for example, like so, for those 2 points only or for only 1 point. As long as you stay in this vector editing mode, you can also add points along the path. So you can click, click, click to add some more points, and you can nudge those points with keyboard arrows and shift, or you can simply drag them all the way around. Okay, so let's Command Z undo it. And now I want to show you how to transform this vector point into the one that has the handles. So sometimes you will need some vector handles. You can click on these different modes, or you can simply double click on a vector point, and this will bring some handles in, like so. You can just mess around with them, but you can also press and hold Command to do this independently for each handle. And what else you can do? You can press Option and then click on one handle to delete it. And if you want to bring it back to its normal value, so this sharp edges without handles, you can double click on it. So let's do that one more time, and here you have it. And if you want to accept those changes, just press Return. Now let's explore another tool, and this is the Pen tool. So here it is, or you can just press P on the keyboard and you go to the Pen tool. Now let me zoom in once more. And if you've ever used any design software, this will be very familiar. If you haven't, don't worry, I'll explain it to you. So let's use Pen tool. I press V, and if you click once, you'll just create single vector points without the handles. And if you click and drag, then you'll have the handles. So this first handle is responsible for this curve, and the second one is responsible for the curve that is going to come with the third point. So if I click right now, I have this little curve here. Obviously, you can always go back to the editing mode. Even if you press return to accept it, you can press return once more, and then you can select this vector point and, for example, press Command and move this handle independently. Now let's use it, and let's press P for very simple arrow. If you click once, and then if you hold Shift, you will have a 45-degree line. So I want to make one line like this, and then I press and hold Shift again and create another line. So I'm totally sure that this is perfect right now. And you can close the path by just clicking on the other side. If you want to close the path right now, you just click on the first vector point, and there you have it. Let's accept it with return, press Command 2 to zoom in, zoom out a little bit, and let's check out the stroke properties. So the first property is color, it's obvious, and then you have the position. So you can position it inside or outside the stroke that you've created, or just in the center. So this affects some of the options. I'm going to show you that in a second. Then there you have the weight. You can apply more weight to it and explore some advanced options by clicking those little triangles. So we have 3 joins here because 3 vector points meet each other in one point. So you can change the properties so that they are rounded, for example, like this, or you can cut them out. So this is how it works. And for the ends, we don't really have an open ends here in the path. So what I'll do is use this scissors tool. Let me select the tool, and it will let you cut out any of the line in between the vector points. So let's open this path once more by clicking here. And now we have open points. So let's accept it with return, and let's go to stroke properties once again, and we have 2 ends right now. So we can round the ends, or we can apply more margin to those ends, like so. So there is a slight difference between the first and the third setting. But I'll stick to this setting, and for the joints, I'm going to leave this sharp arrow. I think it's pretty cool. Maybe let's apply a bit more weight to it, and also let's press Ctrl C to change the color with the color picker to the one that we have on our text. Now let's position this correctly with the keyboard arrows, and there we have our first vector design element. I think that we need to slightly change the size of this background, this yellow background, and now there's a neat trick. If you start changing the height like this, it will result in changing only the bottom border, but I want to change bottom and top simultaneously, so I will press and hold Alt, Option, and do it like so. This is so much better, and you can use it for this side as well, so we can Option drag. So instead of changing only the one side, you can simultaneously change all the sides here. And also, you can press Shift to maintain proportions while scaling. For example, if you combine those, Option and Shift, you will have scaling within proportions, but from the center of this shape. Okay, now it's ready, so let's zoom out and let's go to the bottom where we have buttons that I have to create. So let's use rectangle, and let me start from here like that. Also, I need to turn off the fill and turn on stroke and change the radius property so that I have rounded radius. Also, I need to apply some more weight. I think 3 is enough. Let's position it like so. Now, if you want to position this element so that the text is precisely in the center, you'll use the alignment options. Let's select the text and also press Shift and select the rectangle. And then you can go to the vertical or horizontal alignment. For us, this will be horizontal alignment, and we want to have it centered like this. For the border, I need to change the color. I press Ctrl C and just click. And as you see, if I have only stroke applied, this will change the color of the stroke. Now, I have different positions for the stroke, and what I'd like to do is to place it inside my shape. And why am I doing so? If I duplicate and move it here right now with Option, I need to change the size like this and position it. You'll see that if I want to use fill inside this shape instead of the stroke, this will be the same height. So it's pretty important. And for the fill, I want to use a gradient. Now, the gradient, I have the gradient here in my styles. So what I can do is right-click on this shape and then select Copy Style. You can also use the keyboard shortcut, which is Command-Option-C. And now you can go to this shape, select it, and press Command-Option-V to paste the style. You can also right-click and select Paste Style. Obviously, we need to change the position in the Layers panel so that the rectangle 1 is below the Instant Pickup, but now it looks really cool. Now, let's zoom in, and what I'd like to do is select this first button and move it so that I am in line with the grid with this text. So the button shape will be a little bit off to the left, but it's fine. And for the Instant Pickup, I want to make it slightly wider, select it, and then position horizontally. I think it's sitting quite nicely on the grid. So let's press Command 0 to view it in 100%. Let's press Ctrl G to disable the grid, and I think it really looks nice. Okay, there's one last element I want to create in this lesson, so let's zoom in here. And first, I want to use the pen tool to create a little play icon. So this is very easy. I press and hold Shift to hold the proportions. Now you see this little line that will help me keep it in the center. This is really helpful. So let's click there and let's close the path. If you have the path closed, you can press Return, and now you can operate on the fill or stroke. So let's add the fill, and I want to use this white color like this. So now the question is, what do I do if I want those corners rounded? And I obviously can't use the stroke properties because it's a fill, not a stroke. And I don't really have the shape of a rectangle, so I don't have this rounded corners here in the properties. So what I do instead, I just press Return, I go to Editing Vectors, I select all the vector points with shift-clicking on them, and now I can just adjust the corner radius. For example, if you want 2 points radius, you can set it, you can press Return, and there you have a really nice play shape. This will allow us to play the sound of the engine, of the exhaust, so it's pretty cool. And I want to insert an image here. So what I've been doing recently, I've been just dragging and dropping an images on Studio, but now I want to press I, and this is just another way in which you can import images into Studio. So I have Wave, this is Wave SVG and Wave PNG. So first let's focus on this SVG file, because this is really cool format. It's fully vector and fully editable. Studio says it can't really import it right now because it's grayed out, but this is not entirely true. If you open the same thing, the same wave in the Finder, so there I have the Wave SVG, and you try to just put it inside Studio like so, you will have it. So there it is, and there are all the paths that you'd need. Well, I don't really need this as a vector graphic because I won't edit it, and so many paths will be, I think, slower while animating. So I'm just going to delete it, but yeah, I've just shown you that it can be done. Instead, I'm just going to use I once more and insert this wave.png. I have this wave in pretty neat resolution so that I can divide height by 2, and now it's quite good quality. I want to put it here like so. And if you, by the way, use IconJar, for example, this is a really cool app. You can use IconJar with Studio, no problem with that. You can just drag and drop any icon from IconJar and it will work in Studio. It will be also vector, so you have all the vector shapes here. So yeah, it's working fine. Okay, that's it for now. That's it for this lesson, and I see you in the next one.